Welcome in. My name is Arya and I'm a research analyst at FinChat.io, the world's best stock research platform, and that's really going to be the focus of today's video. We're going to be looking at how FinChat is highly differentiated against all other stock research platforms, and particularly we're going to look at very specific features that we have in our software that is truly one of a kind in the marketplace today. So without further ado, the first thing we're going to do is navigate over to the FinChat.io website. And over on our landing page, you'll notice that there's a handful of different options available to you. So what we're going to do is we're going to pull up a company such as Netflix to start us off with. And once you click into it, you'll see that a handful of different tabs start to populate on your screen. So this is known as our analysis tab. And this is probably where you're going to be doing the bulk of your research. On the overview page within the analysis tab, you'll see that there's a handful of different basic metrics to get a quick idea into the current state of this business. So for example, you have valuation metrics both on a trailing and on a next 12-month basis. You have the current market cap, enterprise value, and shares outstanding of this business, various different margins, capital efficiency ratios, and of course you have a plethora of both trailing and forward projected growth metrics available to you. And so before we move on the right-hand side of your screen, you'll have access to the stock price chart. But additionally, if you select from the drop-down, there's a handful of different metrics which you could choose from. So for example, the drawdowns feature, which I personally derive the most value from, this shows the percentage change from the all-time high over the given time frame. So for example, we could see that Netflix at one point at the bottom of 2022 was 75% off of its all-time highs at that time. If we click on the max feature, this will show the entire stock price history of Netflix. And you'll see that in 2012, it also had about a 80% drawdown. In 2005, it had close to a 75% drawdown. And then additionally, there's a handful of different other metrics which you could choose from here. For example, total return, if there's a business that has a lot of its return coming from dividends, market cap, enterprise value, and 10K growth, which is primarily used for ETF investors. Moving on, we also have the financials page within the analysis tab. And of course, you have available to you the very basic income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statement that we're all used to. But additionally, at the end here, we have the segments and KPIs page, which gives you company-specific metrics. So for example, the Netflix subscriber count, Meta's average revenue per user, Amazon's operating profit based off of its segments, the installed base number of iPhones that Apple has, so on and so forth. And again, might I remind you, this is 100% unique and differentiated, one-of-a-kind data sets that we have here on the platform. We manually track every single one of these KPIs for over 2,000 different companies. And so you'll see, in the case of a business like Netflix, on the segment side of things, they actually break out their revenue on a geography basis. So UCAN stands for United States and Canada. EMEA is Europe, Middle East, and Africa. Latin America, and then of course we have Asia Pacific at the bottom. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start clicking on all of these different segments. And what you'll see is over on the chart, it has now populated all these different data sets over the past 5 years. But you can see that this is kind of a messy chart and it's hard to draw conclusions and get real insights from this. That's why when you have multiple different metrics, we do recommend that you click on the stacked bar chart. What this does is it puts all the different metrics into one larger bar, and this is much easier to kind of draw insights from. Now, additionally, of course, in some cases, people will want to know what percentage of total revenues a certain segment is making up over time. For example, we could see that Asia Pacific went from being a relatively small component of Netflix's total revenues to a somewhat larger portion of those revenues. Or additionally, we could also just see that the total change over the past 5 years has been most significant with the Asia Pacific region. And so that's why we actually recently added the common size feature. If you simply click on the common size button, what this does is it shows the percentage of revenue or the percentage of whatever the total row amount is over time. So in the case of, for example, Asia Pacific, it went from making up about 6% of revenues to 11% of revenues over the past 5 years. United States and Canada have gone down as a percentage, so on and so forth. With that being said, our KPIs don't stop at just revenues. We have a variety of other metrics that we track, again, on a quarterly basis. And so, for example, with Netflix, you can also go down to net membership additions. This just tells you how many total members were added. You also have your paid memberships at the end of the period, both as a total and per geography. So we could see that in the most recent fiscal year that Netflix just finished up, they actually exceeded 300 million in paid members. And actually, perhaps most impressive, we have the average revenue per membership, again, broken down on a geography basis. So I've just selected all of those. This is in line chart format, and you'll see very quickly that the United States and Canada average revenue per membership is significantly higher than other regions in the world. We do also have other components to the analysis tab. So for example, the investor relations page, where we natively have both the transcript and the actual report for all these companies built into the website. You can also listen to the conference call if you so choose. We have an estimates tab for analyst estimates on a variety of different metrics, ownership for both insiders and major stockholders, so on and so forth. And with that being said, thank you for watching. Feel free to reach out to us through our help center if you have any questions or concerns, which can be found under the settings icon on the left-hand side of your screen. Have a great day.